Now at this step, so let us look at how we can you may have a situation whereby you've captured some responses from users, and you may need them to provide their own suggestion or their own views or something. Let me say you had a previous question asking them, how did you hear about COVID-19? And then you want them to choose from the means you've provided to them. And then let me say, of those you've given, maybe the respondents could be having some other options. So let us look at how can we capture those other options. And this one now will come in using also, we shall utilize the skip logic to integrate such as an aspect in our form. So how can we do that? So let us create a question to ask respondents, how did you get of this? This is a question just of that sort. And then we add, so since there are different options and we may need users to select some which could be there. So let me say radio as an option 1, and then option 2 we could have it as television, and option 3 friends. So we add a fourth option. So maybe this fourth option we need to capture others. So if a user now clicks on these others, then we shall need to prompt the user to provide those others they were talking about. So here when we say others, so that is it. So you can come here and code. Let me say we give this a code of 1, code of 2, code of 3, let me say code of 4. So something like this. So this is our question. Let me say assuming, okay, we also make it mandatory. So in this provision, mandatory response, if we say yes, so we maybe need to say, okay, let this question appear after someone has answered the question on what? On location. So you add a condition that this question will only be displayed if location, change this to was answered. As long as location was answered, whether which option or what, it will display this question, this other question. So how did you get to know of this disease? We have our options that were listed in. So we add now, remember we had an option of what? An option of others inside here. So we want to capture, to provide, to set in something that will capture that others, that what we call the others. So we now tell the user, if others, kindly specify. So we tell the specify. We tell the respondent to specify what they were calling others. So since in this case the respondents will type by themselves, so and in most cases they will be typing texts. So if you're sure they will be typing text or numbers, you can choose either of these, one of these. So for texts, we said we use this. So since these users, the respondents, will be typing by themselves, and most likely they'll be typing letters, so we choose that. Now we have to set a skip logic for this if others kindly specify. This one should only be displayed if someone who answered this part and they chose others. Hopefully you've understood that. So this part we have to set its skip logic condition. So come to its settings. We may not make it mandatory because this one will only come in if someone has chosen what? Others. So just come and set a skip logic for it, add a condition. And for this case now, the condition you're adding that this question of how did you get to know of the disease, this one, the answer should be equal to others, meaning someone should choose what? Others for this question on if others to be displayed. Hopefully you are getting that. So we have this part. If others can specify, it will only be displayed, only and only be displayed if this question on how did you get to know of the disease, someone chose others as part of the responses. So let's test it. We save. After saving, we said you save, close this, and then redeploy. So close this, then redeploy. So when you redeploy, say OK. And after that, so we shall return to our form. We need to refresh so that we load the changes that have been made. The changes usually take about 20 seconds. So if you see this message, then you can refresh for it to load. Okay, so we can now test gender, let me say ML, and then location, let me say Wakiso. So it will then bring this other question. So how did you get to know of the disease? Since we set this question specifically, we gave it a select multiple. Select multiple. So we can select this, we can select this, we can select this. You may find a respondent, they may select, yeah, I heard from other sources. So they select others. So when once they select others, this other question comes in. So if they uncheck this, you see it will disappear. If they check it, it will come. If they uncheck it, so if you check it in, so that is what we have made using the skip logic statement condition. So if others kindly specify, so this person will come in and then start specifying those other sources they were hearing, where they got that particular condition from. Let me say that, what else? Teacher or school, what, and others. Let me say whatever the respondent will think of submitting to you. Then they will click submit. So that's how it's done. So you have your form, questions appearing one by one, questions appearing one by one. Alright, so we have covered how to build a question that will require users to submit others. We can test and then for another option, but basically that is how it's done.